What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Daniel here at Press Play Productions, and today I'm going to be doing a different video. No product review, no gear review, no unboxing, but today I'm going to be talking about a company. It's going to be a company review. Today we're speaking about Antelope Audio. I had been using an Antelope Audio as my main audio interface here in the studio for a couple of years now. I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the interface and the company as well. Also let you know why I decided to switch. So if you can't stick around to the end of the video, it's not going to be too long, but I also wanted to remind you, if you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that bell notification. That way you get notified when we drop new content. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So where do we start? I guess we have to rewind a little bit, talk about a couple of other interfaces that I've had in the past. When I started off recording in my bedroom, I had the DigiDesign MBox 2 Mini, and that's what I used for quite some time. Then I went ahead and upgraded to the DigiDesign Digi002, and that's what I had for quite some time as well. But then they stopped supporting the drivers. I had switched computers, and I was going between Mac and PC, and there was quite a bit of turmoil in that situation, or in that case. What I ended up doing was I ended up going for a Focusrite Sapphire Pro 40, which is something that a friend of mine had, and great unit, built like a tank. And it had a lot more bells and whistles than the DigiDesign had. So I went ahead and went for that. This was back when Pro Tools 9 and 10 came out, that it allowed open branding for their interfaces. So I switched to the Sapphire Pro 40, had that one for quite some time. Then from there, I upgraded to the Scarlett series when the Scarlett came out, and I've had a couple of Personas. I've had several different brands of interfaces, a bunch of USB, FireWire, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the plunge and I'm going to spend some more money. I no longer was recording in my bedroom. Now I have a little spot where I record at. It's nothing big. It's a small room, which is a 12 by 14. And here's where I have everything set up in here. And I'm thinking I'm going to be doing a studio tour probably within the next couple of days here. So be on the lookout for that. But anyways, I decided that, you know what, I'm doing this a little bit more seriously. There's a little bit more clientele now, so I'm going to try and step up my game a little bit. So I decided to invest some money. So I was thinking, what am I going to invest in? What am I going to buy? What am I going to get? I had been watching so many videos, so many reviews, I read so many blogs. It's just, it was overwhelming, and I didn't know what to get. I decided to, after speaking with a bunch of friends of mine who I really trust their opinion in, I decided to take the plunge, and I went for an Antelope Audio interface. I had heard nothing but great stuff about Antelope Audio, so I went for an Antelope Audio, and the one that I purchased was an Antelope Audio Zen Studio Plus. So they have two: the Antelope Audio Zen Studio, and then the Zen Studio Plus. There's a difference. One was Thunderbolt and USB, and the other one was just USB. One of them included some extra DSP. One of them also included a few more ins and outs. So that was the difference. So I decided to go for the beefy one. I decided to go for the Plus, which at the time of purchase was $2,295. So that set me back quite a bit. I was not used to spending that much money in the studio. So I went ahead and purchased it. Now, I was speaking about my computers. I had upgraded from PC to Mac, and then I had an old MacBook Pro, switched back to another PC, and I was just back and forth. At the time, I purchased a computer off of a friend of mine who sold me this computer, which was a Mac Tower. It was a Mac Pro 3.1, so it was an older model, 2008. But this computer was stocked. I mean, it had everything. It had not stocked, stacked. But this computer had everything. It had 64 gigs of RAM. I was running, I want to say 8 terabytes of memory. I had an upgraded graphics card. I had everything in that computer. And that computer was amazing. At the time I was running Pro Tools 2018 on it, and I was running the Antelope Audio. And so one day I see that there's an update, and I had been working with the Antelope audio, and everything was working fine. It worked well. Had a lot of ins and outs. I mean, it had 12 mic pre's on it, plus 12 via DB25, plus another 8 DB25, and then it had another 16 of IO through ADAT or optical. So I mean, it had a bunch of ins and outs, and it sounded fantastic. Audio quality was really good. No complaints whatsoever. Some of my best mixes ever came from that unit. But one day I see that there's a notification that says that that there's an update. So I decided to do the update on it, and then I did the update. And then after I did the update, my computer was no longer recognizing it. So I didn't know what was going on. And so I was trying to go back and forth, and I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So what I ended up doing was I called Antelope Audio. I called them and I spoke to them. They told me, well, if your computer's not compatible, you shouldn't have done the update. I'm like, okay, I get that, but help me. You know, that's what you're there for. You're the company. You can help me. Send me the new drivers that would make it compatible. Help me find it. Help me do like a diagnostics. Help me something, you know. So they told me there was something they could do. So I get it. Okay, that's fine. So I went to the time machine, did a backup, went back a couple of days and got rid of that update, and then it was fine. Then I noticed that my talkback on the actual interface wasn't working. I would press the talkback and all you would hear was a bunch of distortion. So my clients couldn't hear anymore. So I ended up actually setting up this SM7B as a talkback to talk to them. That way we're in the same room. I used to have them in a separate room, but I decided to record here in an open room, and I've been liking that sound a little bit more. But what I did is, so I set up this SM7B to route to their headphones so I could talk to them. And that was a workaround that we had, but I just wasn't liking that the microphone wasn't working. So I called them and I told them, hey, you know what, this isn't working. And they told me, oh, well, you're past the year. You no longer have warranty. We no longer manufacture this product. This product is discontinued. So what we're thinking is it's probably that update that you did. I'm like, but the update shouldn't have affected the actual hardware. So they told me, well, we really don't have an answer for you. So I'm like, so this is the second time I call and you can't help me out. I'm like, all right, cool. So then my computer pops up that there's an update for the Antelope Audio, and I said, you know what, I want to do it again because I want to make sure that everything is up to date, but I want to make sure that my computer is able to handle it and everything is right. So then I called them and I said, hey, you know what, this update's coming up. What do I do? This, that, or the other. And they tell me, no, your computer's too old. You just need to get a new computer. I said, okay, so then I need to get a new computer. And they said, yeah. I said, okay, so there's no other alternative. Like, there's no other workaround. I can no longer update my Antelope Audio because my computer's too old. And they said, yes, buy a new computer. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'm just upset because I invested this money into the company or into this interface so that I could have something, and I can't use it to its full capabilities because the talkback's not working and because I can't update it. And they said, well, maybe you should have used that money to upgrade your computer. I'm like, bruh, don't tell me how to handle my money. You know what I mean? Like for a company to tell you that, I didn't really like it. That was really disheartening for me. So after being discouraged for quite some time, I decided, you know what, I'm going to update computers. And I did. I purchased a new computer, which is the computer that I'm still using to this day, which is a 2019 iMac Pro. And that one's kind of souped up too. I got like 2 terabytes of memory in it, and it's got 32 gigs of RAM, and that thing's been a workhorse for me. It's been working really fine. So I got that computer, and that computer, since it was kind of newer, it came out with Catalina, I believe. And then there was an update. Oh, so I updated the Antelope Audio, and everything was working fine except for my talkback still wasn't working. So I'm like, all right, cool. I guess the workaround we'll still have to do. So I'm using the Antelope Audio still this time. Everything's going good. Like I said, it had a lot of ins and a lot of outs, and it sounded fantastic, and it worked really well. The routing on it, like to get your audio in, like for you, because you can have separate monitor mixes set up, even though there's no different monitor button on the interface. But you can have different monitor mixes set up. You can have different monitor mixes for your in ears, or not for your in ears. I'm sorry, that's the stage for your headphones. So that was a cool feature too, but it was a little complex for the routing. Now, one thing that I did not like is that it came with a bunch of plugins for vintage EQs, which is kind of like supposed to be like a 1073, vintage compressors, a bunch of different things, reverbs, and all of these things were good, but they're only working in your headphone mix. That way you could record with them, that you could hear them, monitor with them, or you could track with them. But I can't mix with them because those plugins were only in the software of Antelope Audio. Now, if I wanted to get them into my DAW, which was at the time with Pro Tools, I needed to use a plugin that they sold called AFX to DAW, and that plugin alone was $300 or $399 when it came out, and I'm like, bro, I just bought this thing for $2,500. Now you want me to spend another $300 or $400 to be able to use these plugins into the software when there's other companies that are already providing this kind of DSP. So I was a little bit discouraged on that, and maybe I should have done my research a little bit better. But also, I feel like if they have a customer that's paying high price tags for these things, then maybe they should treat them a little bit better. Fast forward to all of that, I was working on my computer one day and I got a pop-up for Big Sur. So I'm like, hey, you know what? Gotta download Big Sur. Everything's good, right? Because Antelope Audio said I needed a new computer. This is a newer computer. This is a new update from Mac, or from Apple, so then I should be good. Did the update. Once I did the update, the launcher for the Antelope was no longer on my screen. So I said, oh, okay, maybe that's because it was the older launcher. Let me go to their website, download their new one. So I went to their website, typed in the unit that I have, and obviously everything comes up that is discontinued, that they no longer make it, all this stuff, which I get. But it's like, bro, like this thing has only been out for like maybe a year, 2 years, but at this point, or like maybe like 3 years, and they already discontinued it. And the thing is that they have like the Discreet, and they have not the Galaxy, the Orion. They have so many different ones, and they're all the same. Like they all have the same 12 mic preamps, 8 line in, 8 line out, ADAT. They all have the same features. Like, why do you keep on producing the same interface but rebranding it over and over? Like there's minor differences that are like not big differences at all. Like I get it when a cell phone company releases, like when Samsung releases a new phone, there's a difference. When Apple releases a phone, well, this is this is subjective because there was not very much difference for me from the 11 Pro Max to the 12 Pro Max. But anyways, sometimes there is a difference when something else newer comes out. But when these things came out, the differences were so subtle that it really wasn't logical to me. Well, anyways, I did this update on the Mac and went up to Big Sur. When I went to Big Sur, no longer had the launcher, went to their website, saw that it was discontinued. So I didn't know what to do. So I reached out to customer support again and I said, hey, you know what? This is discontinued. I'm trying to download the launcher and the drivers for it, but it's not on there. They're like, oh no, we took off all the stuff online because that was discontinued. I'm like, so you took off all of the downloads online, like the owner's the user's manual is no longer there. There's another instructional book that shows you how to do the routing that wasn't there either, and also the launcher wasn't there. So I'm like, so you took everything down from the website, and so now how am I supposed to get it? And the guy's like, well, I mean, it's kind of gone, so maybe you need to get a new interface. I'm like, bro, this is the same company that told me I needed to buy a new computer. Now they're telling me I need to buy a new interface when I just bought a new interface from y'all a couple years back and spent $2,500 on it. You know what I mean? So it was really, really upsetting. It kind of annoyed me. So then I was talking to the guy, and he's like, look, let me tell you what, we're not supposed to do this, but I'm going to check through my personal files and see if I still have the launcher in my personal files. If I do, I'll call you back tomorrow and I'll email it to you. I'm like, all right, bet. Like, I thought that was a good solution. Dude never calls me back. And I call back and I asked to speak with them. They're like, oh, well, we don't know who you talked to. And I was like, well, this is the guy's name. And they're like, oh, well, he's been out for like a week or a couple days. So he's not here. So I don't know how you talk to him. So I'm thinking like, okay, like if you don't have it, just tell me you don't have it. You know what I mean? Like, don't give me the runaround like this. Finally, I call back 2 days later. I asked to speak to this guy. I speak to him. He tells me, hey, you know what? I didn't find the drivers. I don't have them, so there's nothing we can do. So I'm like, okay, so now what am I supposed to do? Because now, I mean, when I plugged up everything to Pro Tools, everything synced up according to my last session, but it wouldn't let me open up the launcher and change my routing or change everything. So I couldn't change my preamps from mic to line. I couldn't change the gains, the gain staging on the actual preamp itself. I couldn't do any of these things because I didn't have access to the launcher. So I speaking to them, no help. I'm in a group on Facebook called Antelope Audio Users or something like that, and posted on there. Went for about a week unnoticed. Nobody commented. Finally, this one dude comments and says, "Hey, I think I have the launcher because I used to have that interface. I may have it on my old computer." And he's like, "I might be able to send it to you." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So then he sends it to me and it works. I don't know how, but it worked. So I installed that into the computer and it was working flawlessly. So I don't know what the big deal was, like why it disappeared. I don't know. I don't know why the guys from Antelope Audio couldn't just tell me, "Oh, well, we removed it offline, but we still have the file. We can send it to you." I don't understand how they couldn't even say, "Hey, you know what? Go into this group of users and see if anybody has it there." They were like literally no hope. All they would say is, "Buy a new computer, buy a new interface, buy this, buy that." And then I'm like, bro. So then when I tried to send in my Antelope Audio interface, they told me because of the talkback, they told me, well, right now the bench time is really long. Your product is not under warranty, so you're going to pay for the shipping to us. You're going to pay for the shipping back. And then you're gonna have to pay the desk fee and all of these things, and we're not too sure what's wrong with it. Try and hard reset it. So I did a hard reset, didn't work at all. So I was just not satisfied with the company at all, and yeah, I was getting good audio quality, and yeah, everything was working really well, but it's kind of like if I'm paying that much money, I want to get treated like a good customer. Doesn't matter if I bought my interface 3 years ago or if I bought it yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's just the integrity of the company, the honesty of the company is something that I just didn't see. The audio quality is good, but there are many other converters that are out there that are great. There are many other interfaces out there that are really good. So why give my money to a company that just isn't helping me out, you know? And now a new update for Monterey came out on the iMac, and I'm like, bro, I don't want to update the iMac because I don't know if this is going to be compatible or not, or what's going to work or not. So I was just like really, really concerned about all this, and I just decided to let go of the interface. I posted it up. I sold it. It sold within about maybe 3 days after posting it. Someone jumped on it really quick. It was a good interface, man. It sounded really good. It had a lot of I/O, so it was a good unit. However, was it reliable? No. Was it future-proof? No. Was the company good? No. Did they help me out? In no way did they help me out. So at the end of the day, right now, my setup currently is the SM7B, and I'm running this into a cloud lifter, running this into a small little Focusrite i2 something or something like that. It's a small little 2-channel interface, and that's how I'm getting my audio right now for this video, because I have not yet unboxed my interface. I went ahead and I purchased an interface where I spent a good chunk of change, but I didn't buy it brand new. I bought something that's already that's been on the market for quite some time. It's been tested and tried and been true. So I decided to join another user family, and I'm going to do that review in a couple of days, so stick around for that video. Today, like I said, was a little bit different. I just wanted to get this off my chest, let y'all know. If y'all are out there trying to upgrade your stuff and are thinking about, hey, should I go for Persona? Should I go for RME? RME is a really good company, so that I can't say anything about. But if you're trying to say, hey, you know what, I'm trying to invest my money and I want it to be a good investment, I would highly suggest not to invest in Antelope Audio unless you're buying their latest item and you have their latest computer right off the bat. And hopefully their stuff is future proof. From all of their lineup, I think there's only one unit that's Thunderbolt 3, and a lot of new computers, like my iMac, is Thunderbolt 3. So if you don't want to have to buy the adapter and stuff like that, then make sure that you're getting the latest things. So get an interface that's either USB or Thunderbolt 3. That way it can be cross-compatible, and that way it can be future-proof. I honestly didn't see any of the Antelope audio stuff to be future-proof, and I was very discouraged by the company. That's why I didn't invest my money in them again. Now they're offering the effects to DAW with some of their newer, I know some of their newer interfaces and stuff, but just to me, it's too little, too late. So I decided to switch companies. I am no longer with them. And if you are in the market and you're not sure, really, really consider this. Consider this. It's your hard-earned money, and don't throw it away. And don't be let down. So, I mean, that's all I can say. My new interface just arrived, so I'm going to be doing an unboxing. I got a bunch of gear that actually came in, so within these next few days, you're going to be seeing video after video after video coming up, where I'm going to be updating the studio and maybe giving a studio tour and stuff like that. For all of my subscribers, thank you so much. This is, like I said, this is not a big channel at all, but there's a couple of y'all that message me and y'all are asking me questions, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good that I'm able to help someone out and answer some questions, because I've been up at 2, 3 in the morning trying to do research, watching videos, and I don't see the information that I need. So if I can be of any help in any way, just reach out to me. And once again, my name is Daniel here at Press Play Productions. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stick around for the rest. See you. God bless.